Before cities, before fire, before even the idea of human existed, there was only survival. 6 to 7 million years ago, Africa was a land of shifting climates, a crossroads of jungle and desert, forest and savanna. And it was here, in the heart of this unforgiving world, that something extraordinary took its first, trembling step. This is the story of how we began, the moment our ancestors stood upright and faced the ancient world not with strength, but with determination. Scientists call it Sahelanthropus tchadensis. Discovered in the deserts of Chad, this small ape-like creature lived around 7 million years ago. It had a tiny brain, about the size of a chimp's, but its skull revealed something revolutionary. Its head balanced on the spine in a way that suggested it walked upright. That one feature changed everything. For the first time in Earth's history, a creature that wasn't quite ape and not yet human looked out across the horizon. Standing on 2 feet, it could see further, carry food in its hands, protect its young, and slowly evolution began to shape something new. But make no mistake, this was no paradise. Predators lurked in every shadow. Gigantic snakes, saber-toothed cats, and crocodiles that could drag a creature into the water in seconds. And our ancestor, small, vulnerable, slow, had to fight for every breath of life. In that silence, in that constant fear, survival became the ultimate teacher. The world of 7 million years ago was changing fast. Africa's lush rainforests were drying out, replaced by open grasslands. Our earliest ancestors were caught in the middle, too adapted to trees to survive on the ground, too slow to return to the forest. So they adapted in the only way evolution knows how, through struggle. They learned to walk longer distances in search of food. Their feet evolved arches for balance. Their hands grew stronger, better for gripping branches, digging roots, or carrying a child. By day, they foraged. By night, they clung to trees, hoping to avoid the predators below. And as the stars spread across the African sky, the first sparks of curiosity flickered in their minds. What lay beyond those trees, beyond those plains? That question, the hunger to know, would define humanity forever. Survival wasn't just about finding food. It was about avoiding death. Every step outside the safety of a tree could mean the end. But early hominins weren't just prey. They were learners. They began to understand patterns. They could sense danger in silence. They remembered where fruit trees grew. They learned when crocodiles hunted and when it was safe to drink. This was intelligence in its earliest form. Not speech, not tools, but awareness. And in a world filled with giants, that awareness was a weapon. Their strength was not in muscle, but in mind. Walking upright may seem simple, but in evolution, it was a revolution. Standing tall meant they could spot danger across the savanna. It allowed them to carry food, water, and even tools. And it changed their entire biology. Their spines curved to balance the head. Their pelvis shifted to support an upright posture. Even their breathing changed, more efficient for endurance. Unlike the predators that relied on speed, early humans developed stamina. They could walk for hours, even days, tracking herds, migrating with the seasons. The savanna was vast, but they were learning to master it. In a dangerous world, one was nothing. But together, they stood a chance. The earliest humans lived in small groups. They shared food, looked after the young, and watched each other's backs. When danger came, they scattered. But they always found their way back. These groups weren't just survival packs. They were the first families. They groomed one another, a gesture of trust. They protected one another, a sign of empathy. Some scientists believe this was the birth of emotion as we know it, the ability to care, to comfort, to grieve. Those emotions, once simple instincts, became the foundation of humanity's greatest strength: connection. Over the next few million years, evolution sculpted our ancestors like clay. From Sahelanthropus came Australopithecus, more advanced, more upright, more human. They had longer legs for walking, shorter arms for climbing, and though their brains were still small, something inside them was growing: curiosity. They experimented. They used sticks to dig termites, stones to crack nuts. It was the first step toward tools and toward thought. Each generation learned a little more from the last. Each discovery was passed on, not by words, but by imitation. This was the earliest form of culture. Around 3 million years ago, Australopithecus afarensis walked the earth, the species of the famous fossil Lucy. They lived in groups, cared for their young, and survived through cooperation. But the greatest transformation was happening inside their skulls. Neural connections were multiplying. Their eyes were more forward-facing. Their brains were starting to plan, to imagine. They began to understand cause and effect. If I use this stone, I can break that bone. If I follow the herd, I can find food. That moment, that first spark of problem solving, was the beginning of intelligence, the first flicker of human thought. By 2.5 million years ago, our ancestors had evolved into Homo habilis, literally a handy man. For the first time, they crafted tools from stone. They cut meat from bones, dug roots from the earth, and defended themselves against predators. These weren't just survival tools. They were symbols of progress. Every chipped stone carried knowledge, passed down from one mind to another. The beginning of tradition, the start of civilization. With tools, they could hunt, prepare food, and explore new territories. They no longer just survived, they adapted. Africa's climate continued to shift. Ice ages came and went. Forests turned to deserts, rivers to dust, and yet, through every storm, through every drought, our ancestors endured. Why? Because evolution had gifted them something no predator possessed: resilience. Their bodies could cool efficiently in the heat. Their minds could anticipate the seasons. And their communities, bound by trust, could share food and care for the weak. This was not a strength born from dominance. It was a strength born from compassion. They didn't yet control fire, but the fire was already within them, a fire of curiosity, of invention, of survival. Each generation built upon the lessons of the last. From ape to ancestor, from instinct to intention, humanity was forming slowly in the heart of Africa. These early humans could not imagine what they would become, but we, their descendants, look back now and see in them the spark that still burns in us all. 6 to 7 million years ago, an upright ape looked across a savanna and began to walk. Every step they took shaped the path that led to us. They didn't know fire or words or art. They didn't build homes or temples, but they did something far greater. They began. Their courage became our legacy, their endurance our foundation, and their survival. This is the reason we exist today. This was the dawn of humanity, the first breath of a species destined to change the world. And it all began with a single step. If If you love exploring the forgotten corners of Earth's ancient past and uncovering how life itself found a way to survive, subscribe now to No Chill Nature, where the mysteries of evolution come alive.